Here's how I made the caramel for this caramel cake, y'all. So I started off with a hot pot and 1.5 cups of sugar, okay? Now, if you're gonna make caramel, you got to be patient. There's a lot of stirring and there's a lot of waiting that you're gonna have to do. Okay, so now once the sugar starts to heat up, you'll start to see like little clumps coming into it because it is actually starting to melt. You see that? And it's gonna liquefy at the bottom. So if you didn't know it, once sugar heats up, it turns into a liquid. So it's just getting thicker and thicker as we go along. And I just have to keep stirring and stirring and stirring. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is that this sugar burns. And I refuse to let that happen. So I just kept stirring and stirring and stirring with my little wooden spoon until the liquid got like this. Now, all those little clumps in there, all of that has to melt if you want silky smooth caramel, okay? So just medium low heat, keep stirring, and eventually all of this is going to melt, okay? And it'll have a pretty amber color like this. Anything darker, I think, is probably going to be burnt. So this is where you need to be. And then you're going to add in 3 tablespoons of butter. Now you're putting something cold, even though this is room temperature butter, I'm putting something that's colder than this hot sugar. So it's going to bubble. And then this room temperature cup of heavy cream is also going to make it bubble too. The worst thing you can do here is put in some cold heavy cream because then you're going to blow up the whole pot and have third-degree burns. So get your heavy cream to room temperature first, add it to your pot, and then just keep stirring, stirring and stirring and stirring. And then finally, you get this beautiful amber colored caramel. And I add a pinch of salt too. And then just put it in a heat safe container and let it cool. So, as you know, I made a caramel cake, right? So I just followed my caramel cake recipe, adding caramel into the cake mix, adding caramel into the buttercream that I'm going to use for the cake, adding that caramel inside the cake. I mean, it's caramel from top to bottom, okay? Let's just say that. And then just adding some to the top, smoothing it out. Eventually, it just dripped down the sides of the cake after I smoothed it all around. I wasn't really worried about what it looked like. As always, I tell y'all that all the time. Don't be looking for no fancy looking cakes over here. We just do good tasting cakes. And this is how it turned out. So then I cut into that bad boy. And you know, I had to see what it looked like. And it was so pretty with the caramel on the inside and that caramel buttercream frosting. And then, of course, you know, I had to get a taste of it. And look how I just had that caramel had that cake sitting straight up, y'all. I've never had a cake be able to sit straight on my plate like that before. But anyway, so this still moist, still delicious. And that caramel was holding everything tight and right. But the actual cake was to die for. This caramel recipe will be in the caption. Try it out. Let me know what you think. Enjoy.